Mr. Harris here, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to talk about DNA. So in the previous few videos, we've mentioned a bit about DNA. So far, what we know is DNA is located at the nucleus. And we also know that DNA, it is able to control the activities of a cell. It could instruct the cell to perform certain duties or to transform the cells into something useful. So let's see what can a cell do. For that, I want to raise one point. DNA is the genetic material and it carries genetic information. So the point I wanted to raise was the word genetic is appearing or will appear a lot of times. So DNA has to deal with a lot of things that are genetic in us. So what kind of genetic information does DNA instruct a cell to do? So for example, DNA could instruct certain cells in the eyes and tell them how much pigment to make. So for example, for some people, in their eyes, they have little pigment, whereas for some of them have a lot of pigment, so they have darker eyes. So you've probably seen some people, they're having black and brown eyes, whereas some would have a lighter fade of blue. So due to this genetic information that DNA could carry, it is also able to determine the traits of a human being. So traits, we could also reword it as characteristics that are determined genetically. Okay, for example, just now I mentioned about eye color. So some of us could have brown, black, some of us could have blue. Another thing could be hair color. So some of us have black hair, some of us have yellow or blonde hair. Okay? Another one could be, maybe some of you are able to do so, tongue. Some of you are tongue rollers, whereas some of you are not able to roll your tongue. Some of you have dimples, while some of you don't. So all these are what we say are traits, and they're basically inborn. So they're genetics. You genetically have these type of traits. All right? So let's have a look at where the DNA is. So before that, let's look at the cell. So inside the cell, we have the nucleus. And inside the nucleus, we find this very interesting structure. And we call it the chromosome. I repeat, chromosome. So chromosome has an X-like shape. So what exactly is the chromosome? Let's have a look over here. So if we try to unwind the chromosome over here, let's say if we open the chromosome and you twist it, you'll find that the DNA is actually located inside the chromosome. hmm So actually, if I were to put a bigger picture for this, I want you to focus on this. So diagram on the right is this one, this big circle over here. What is this? Yes, this is a cell. Okay, that's the first layer, is a cell. And inside of the cell, what is this purple part? Let me use a purple color. Yes, this is the nucleus. So we have the nucleus over here. And inside the nucleus, what are these X sort of structures that you see? Yes, those are the chromosomes. And finally, inside the chromosomes, that is where you could find the DNA. All right. So at first we learned that DNA is located inside the cell. So where exactly is it located in? It is located inside the nucleus. Not exact enough. It is located inside the chromosomes. Okay? And this is where DNA is found. So let's talk more about chromosomes. So chromosomes, they exist in pairs in the body cells. So one of them comes from the male parent while the other one comes from the female parent. So the father and the mother. So each body cells has two sets of chromosomes. So let's have a look. What does it mean? So in a human body cell, there are 46 chromosomes, which in other words, 23 pairs. So let's have a look over here. You'll find that for chromosome, the first pair, you'll see that there are two of them. The reason behind is, as mentioned over here, one comes from the male parent while the other one comes from the female parent. So let me write that down. 23 chromosomes comes from the male parent, the father, and the other 23 chromosomes comes from the mother. So overall, when we add these two up together, we get 46 chromosomes in total. And if you look at the diagram on the left, if you count all of the chromosomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way, you'll find that there are 45, 46. There are 46 chromosomes in a human body cell. Only one human body cell, there are 46 chromosomes. Okay? So, just to give you a better understanding, we can, for example, let's look at chromosome, the ninth pair. So, one of them would come from the father. I'll say this one comes from the father, while the other one would come from the mother. All right? However, I want you to focus on one particular pair. This one over here. Number 23, these are called the sex chromosomes. So these chromosomes, they determine the gender of a person. So whether a person is a female or a male. So let's have a look. How can we know? So for a male person would have one X chromosome and one Y chromosome. So if you notice, the X chromosome is a bit longer, whereas the Y chromosome on the right is shorter. The Y chromosome is shorter. So what we say is a male would have XY sex chromosomes. Okay? How about for a female? For a female, they would have two X chromosomes. So we would say they have XX sex chromosomes. Okay? So based on this, if we just look at the chromosomes, we will be able to figure out which one of them is a male or which one is a female. All right. So let's wrap up so far what we've learned. How many chromosomes are there in a human body cell? Yes, there are 46 in total. How many pairs of chromosomes are there? Yes, there are 23 pairs. There are 23 pairs, and as I mentioned earlier, total there are 46 chromosomes. How many of the chromosomes come from the father? Yes, 23 come from the father, the male parent. How many of the chromosomes come from the mother? Also 23, the female parent. Finally, let's summarize so far. The blank found in the nucleus of each cell contain DNA. So what contains DNA? Which is also found in the nucleus of a cell. So remember I talked about the four layers? So this should be, yes, the chromosomes. DNA is the genetic material. It carries genetic information which determines the traits of a living thing. So some examples of traits, just to recall, it could be eye color, hair color, so on and so forth. Finally, human males and females, they have the same or different sex chromosomes. The answer is yes, different, because male, they have, what do males have? Is it XX or XY? Yes, it's XY sex chromosomes. And females, they have, what do females have? Yes, XX sex chromosomes. Okay. All right, so this is the end of this video. In the next video, we'll do some questions together, some examples. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.